Come into the kitchen. It's MCS, Melbourne Cooking Show. In this video, I will show you how to make your very own energy bars and kick your nutritional game up to the next level from these wimpy Clif Bars. So the bars we'll be making today will be about 300 to 350 calories per bar, and they will have about 70 grams of carbohydrates and 8 grams of protein. So a lot more potent than your average Clif Bar. And be careful because you will be breaking lots of KOMs with these things. The stuff I'm cooking up today should be illegal. The ingredients we'll be following today. Again, I'll include the details down below. And the ingredients are really in 3 main groups, and we'll also look at the nutritional value of the ingredients as well. So first up, we have our dry ingredients. So that includes a good cup of rolled oats. We'll also have 2 serves of protein powder or whey powder. I prefer chocolate. You also want about 100 grams of desiccated coconut. You also want 150 grams of almond meal and about 200 grams of peanuts or the nut of your choice. If you're allergic to peanuts, you probably want to avoid those. The next group of ingredients, we have our fruits. So I'll be including 3 different dried fruits today. I'll be including dried apricots, dates, and sultanas. So they're in equal portions, equal quantities, about 250 grams of each of those as well. Then we have the all important sugars. So in the sugars group, we will have a cup of sugar. We'll include about 250 grams or half a jar of jam, and also about 100-150 grams of honey. And finally, we'll also include about 100 grams of butter. So they're the 3 main different groups. You've got your dry ingredients, you've got your fruit, and you've got your sugars. Now, if you play around with your ingredients within those groups, you'll end up with a nice, tasty, and well-formed energy bar that you can comfortably carry in your jersey pocket, or if you're going hiking or whatever activity you plan to be doing. Also, similarly, we can mix and match the ingredients based on their nutritional value as well. So in that case, our main groups are the fat and protein. So that would include the whey powder, all the nuts and the coconut, the almond meal, and of course the butter. So that's the fat and protein group. Next up, we have our complex carbohydrates. In that case, it's really just the oats. There's not much deviation or substitution possible there. Pretty much the rolled oats really form the foundation, if you like, of the energy bar. So you can't really muck around with those too much. And then we have our simple carbohydrates, our sugars in the ingredients list today. That would include pretty much all of our fruits, the jam, the honey, and of course the sugar. Now, you can also, for the vegans out there, you can go the vegan option. Just replace the butter with 2 or 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I've made them like that before. They're actually quite nice. They're a bit lighter. And also, of course, the honey, leave that for the bees. Let the bees keep their honey, and just add a bit more sugar or a bit more jam, or if you like, you could include maybe some golden syrup or maple syrup as well. The maple syrup is really tasty. So that's the vegan option as well. The bar we'll be making today, I have put that through like a nutrition sort of application and done that analysis. And each bar will come to about 350 calories, being about 75 grams of carbohydrate, about 5 grams of fat, and about 8 grams of protein. So the beauty of making the bars yourself is you can adjust the formula, adjust the strength or the type of bar or the type of fueling to suit your particular needs. So that's great. So that works for me. But these ones, I have, for example, been out riding and start to get pretty close to the bonk, and you start to hallucinate a bit and see start to see some flying unicorns. Now, I have, for example, eaten one of these half of these particular MCS energy bars. They work really quickly. So because of the high sugar content, they are a very quick instant source of energy. So they're really good in that regard. But be careful. You have been warned. Carb responsibly, because these things are pretty potent. I don't want you to, start snapping chains or pulling wheelies on your bike. So be a bit cautious.
Some other important items you'll need as well are a baking tray or a baking dish so you can bake your bars. You will also need a good quality, hefty sort of saucepan or pan or pot. My wife's away, so I'll be using the good one today. And last but not least, it's not mandatory, it is an optional item. You might like to ask your mum if she will sew you up a cool bike apron. Now let's make a start and let's get cooking. Preheat your oven at 160 degrees. And then you'll need to start chopping up all of your fruit. Now you can use a food processor, but personally, I prefer to just get out a knife and chop it all up on the chopping board. It's your choice, use a chopping board or use your food processor and get all that fruit and dates chopped up as finely as you can. Oh, this is hard work. My arms are so tired. Wish I could use my legs. Anyway, that's the sultanas and we're done. Next up, get your baking tray ready. You can either just lightly grease it with some butter or some of that fancy non-stick spray you might have. I'm just going to be lining mine with some baking paper. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm just going to use a bit of butter. Now we're over to the stove and we're going to start cooking. So what we'll do is we'll start off, we'll melt our butter. So we're just melting the butter here quickly. Now I'm just going to throw in the sugar. Keep the heat a bit low so you can work slowly and calmly. So we'll get the jam in again. It's basically half a jar of jam. Everything's half, it's easy. Yum. Don't want it to stick. Keep stirring. Next is the honey. This is always can be a bit tricky. This one's easy, just squeeze. That's enough honey. I'm going to throw in the dates as well at this stage because they're mainly sugar and we want that sugar to cook through properly. The criticality of cooking the sugar is really just that, well, you don't want to burn it of course, but the main driver is that the stage that you cook your sugar will influence or result in the type of energy bar you'll have. Now if you undercook your sugar, it will end up being a very gooey and messy bar to handle, especially when you're out on the bike. And you'll get very sticky fingers and you don't want to dirty your bar tape, so you don't want to undercook your sugar. Similarly, if you overcook it, cook it to like become a toffee, to the hard candy stage, it'll become very brittle and crumbly and also very hard to eat. So we don't want to do that either. Now, but I'm going to use the water technique. So as I said, once it comes up to the boil, you want to get it up to 250 to 260 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I've turned up the gas here a little bit and I'm going to start bringing this up to temperature. And once I think I'm getting a bit close, I will start dropping some in a cup of cold water and then just check the consistency there. You can see all the sugars coming out of the dates. Oh my God, the smell. It smells so good. So we'll just drop some of the mix in the water. I think I want to cook it a little bit more. Oh my God, that tastes so good. Oh, I just had a little bit of that sugar and it's divine. All right, that's gonna do it. Now, you just basically throw in all your dry ingredients. I'm gonna give myself a chance here. I'm gonna take it off the heat. Okay, so we'll throw the rolled oats in. I quite like the oats, so I'm gonna put a little bit more than the recipe. Let's go with 300, say. So adding all the ingredients now, we've got the oats in there. I've got it off the flame because I'm not fast enough. I haven't even opened any of my packets. But we'll just stir it through as we go. It's the easiest way to do it. Alright, so we'll add our coconut. Let's get the almond meal in there. That's 100. The almond meal is 150 grams. That's the whole packet. Almond meal is in. Might bring it back to the heat now. So keep it moving, but keep the heat low. The more dry ingredients you add, it's going to get thicker and thicker and harder to work. So you're going to work those little wimpy arms. Alright, so you can see it's coming to a nice consistency now. So what else we got left? Apricots and the sultanas. So let's get those in there as well. These boys are not going to know what hit them. You might pop one of these I'm going to be lighting the afterburners. So we'll get the peanuts in there next. My old man, he used to always told me, he's not a chef, but my mum's the chef, but he told me that whenever you're working and doing stuff like in the garage or any job you do, the most important thing you need to do is to be neat. Now, I'm not really that neat, especially not in the garage, but when I find I'm making these energy bars, you need to keep everything as neat as possible because it can get out of control real quick. And this stuff is so sticky that it gets pretty hard to work and everything gets sticky and it becomes a mess. Now, I can make a mess in here and make these energy bars as long as when my wife comes home, everything, the kitchen looks like no one's been here, everything is hunky-dory. So, another little cooking tip, make sure your other half doesn't find the mess. And clean up after yourself or you'll be banned from the kitchen for life. But oh my God, it smells so good. The combination of the peanuts and the dates, it's just like a Snickers. It's like having a big pot of Snickers here. I have forgotten to put the protein powder. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that in here. I also don't normally put as much almond meal or almond meal at all, in fact. So the almond meal is nice. It makes it more like a cake. So, but otherwise, sometimes you can swap the almond meal for quick oats. Just get your quick oats. You can put them through the food processor and it becomes very like a flour, and that works quite well too. Now, I'm pretty determined to get that protein powder in because I know that how important protein is to your energy bar, important to muscles, that they get a little bit of protein as you're riding. It's a good thing. And now, so what I've done is I've just adjusted the dryness. I've just added a bit of water and I've just brought the temperature back up. The reason I don't want to add any more sugars or honey is because I don't want to have that uncooked sugar in there. So I've just added a bit of water and you can see now the consistency is nice and soft again, and it's a lovely golden color. I've got it on the stove very gently as well. So I'm going to get that protein powder in there as well. So we said we were going with 2 serves of protein powder. So that's 4 scoops in here, if I can get them in. Let's just go with 3. Oh, now the chocolate smell is coming out. That's all I need. This is going to be so good. The mix is all ready to go. I managed to get good 3 scoops of protein powder in there. So rock on. And now we're going to get it all into the baking tray, and we will get it into the oven. So that's the next step. Get that into the tray. All right, so somehow now we're going to get all of this into here. Get it all out. Okay, now comes the tricky part. Now you need to push all this down, but it's very sticky. So just start working it into the pan. All right, this is what I do here. I use a freezer bag, because if you touch this stuff, it's all over. So we'll just get that off. And what I do is I just use a plastic bag, freezer bag, and just press it all down. Not so stupid, am I? Oh, it's hot. You want to get it as flat as possible, because if you don't, when you put it in the oven, it won't cook evenly, and you'll also get the bits that stick up, they'll burn. So, I mean, I'm not a professional, you'll get a little bit of that anyway. It's just consider a feature of homemade cooking. And we're almost done. There's a couple of holes here. I'll just smooth that out. Oh my God, this is the best job I've ever done. Alrighty. Look at that. Now we're ready to rock. Now we'll just get this in the oven and let it bake for about 20 to 30 minutes. Keep an eye on it until it's nice and golden brown on the top. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Oh, the smell is just out of this world. Okay, they need a little bit longer. Now the smell in this house is ridiculous. I've been climbing the walls. I could eat anything. The smell is delicious. You know, let's get them out of the oven and see how they're looking. Oh my God, they look fantastic. Check it out. they're a bit overdone.
Now that we've got them out of the oven and they're still a bit warm, it's a good time to start cutting them up, or at least marking them out. So we'll get the bars cut up, and then we should be good to go. Okay, so now all that's left really is let the bars cool down completely, and put them in a Tupperware container. Put some baking paper in between the layers so they don't get stuck, and keep them in the fridge so you're ready for when you need them to go riding. You can just, as you take a couple out, wrap them up in some baking powder, put them in your jersey, and you'll be good to go. They'll last probably a couple of months at least. So they came out really good. I'm quite happy with these. I don't know, I think maybe I should focus on cooking instead of cycling, who knows. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I think as far as I'm concerned, these Clif Bars, they're dead to me. They're no good to me. It's just basically like carrying around lead weight. These are the way to go. Well, that's it for today's cooking episode. Looks like I've got enough energy bars here to ride to Sydney and back. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Comment below if you'd like to share your own secret fueling strategies. I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button, and thumbs up if you're a high carb, high power cyclist, and thumbs down if you're a keto cycling plonker. Until next time, see you later.